The digital SAT has this secret weapon it uses against you over and over again. It's a grammar trap that's so common it shows up on pretty much every single test. But what if I told you there's a simple way to not just dodge this trap, but to actually use it to your advantage? So stick with me here, because we're about to decode the SAT's favorite trick and give you the key to beating it every single time. Okay, let's think of the SAT like a game. The test makers, they're your opponents, and they have a favorite play. They run it constantly because, well, it works. So our mission today is to become master strategists. We're going to study their playbook, we're going to understand their number one trick, and then we're going to develop a counter move that will leave them totally stumped.
All right, so what is this number one trap? I'm talking about the single most tested grammar concept on the entire exam. It's the one thing that really separates the good scores from the great ones. And it's called subject-verb agreement.
Now, on the surface, this sounds like Grammar 101, doesn't it? Singular subject, singular verb. Plural subject, plural verb. The dog runs, the dogs run. It seems so simple. But if it's really that easy, why does it trip up so many students? Well, that's the million-dollar question. It's because the SAT is a master of disguise. It takes that super simple rule and just builds this labyrinth of words around it. The real subject gets hidden deep inside, and the test makers are absolutely betting that you'll get lost in all the distractions and fall for their little verbal sleight of hand. So how do you conquer this maze? Not by guessing, that's for sure. You do it with one single, powerful strategy. This is your master key, your secret weapon. Forget what sounds right. From now on, your only mission is to find the true subject of the sentence. Once you do that, the maze just disappears. Let's look at a classic example. The list of required materials is on the table. Just take a second. What is the verb is actually describing? Is it talking about the materials, or is it something else? Right here. This is where the trap is set. And boom, here's the trap revealed. See, the SAT puts the plural word materials right next to the verb, and it's hoping your brain just makes that quick connection. But materials isn't the subject at all. That whole phrase of required materials is just noise. It's a distraction. The real subject is list, which is singular. So the verb has to be is. The list is. And this right here, this is the mindset of a top scorer. They don't guess based on what sounds right. They perform a quick, surgical strike to find the subject, ignore all the noise, and make the match. Look, it's not about being a grammar genius. It's about being a grammar ninja. Okay, now that you've got the right mindset, let's get into the SAT's favorite tricks. To beat the enemy, you have to know their tactics, right? So let's unmask the most common distractions the SAT is going to throw at you. First up, enemy number one, the prepositional phrase. We're talking about those little groups of words that start with things like of, in, with, or by. The second you see one of these wedged between a subject and a verb, a little red flag should go up in your head. This is the SAT trying to throw you off the trail. Your job is simple. Just ignore. All right, next up we have the imposters. These are words that look totally plural but are actually singular. The SAT absolutely loves to use words like mathematics, news, economics, and physics. They end in S, so your brain immediately wants to pair them with a plural verb. Don't fall for it. These words are always singular. And this is where the SAT gets really sneaky. they start combining their tricks. So here, you've got the imposter plural, news, as the subject, and then they throw in a prepositional phrase from all the other departments to stick another plural word right next to the verb. It's a double trap, but you're smarter than that. The subject is news, so the verb has to be is.
Our final enemy in this section is collective nouns. Words like team, group, committee. Now, in the real world, the rules for these can be a little fuzzy, but on the SAT, there is zero gray area. Collective nouns are always singular. No exceptions, ever. Burn that rule into your brain.
And here's a classic example of that. The team is winning. The SAT just throws in that distracting phrase, despite several recent losses, to get you looking at the plural word losses. But you know the rule. The subject is team, and on the SAT, team is singular, so the verb is. Simple as that. All right, you've defeated the minions. Now it's time for the boss level. These are the advanced traps, the ones the SAT sets to challenge even the most prepared students. If you can master these, you'll be in the absolute top tier of test takers.
Okay, first, we've got indefinite pronouns. These are words like everyone, each, and nobody. Now, I know they feel plural, right? Everyone sounds like a whole bunch of people. But in the weird world of grammar, they're always singular. This list is worth memorizing, I promise. It will save you on test day.
So look at this sentence. You're thinking about a whole group of people, multiple trips. Everything about it feels plural, but the subject is everyone, which is singular. So everyone is responsible. This is a classic case of your intuition trying to trick you. You have to trust the rule, not your gut. Next up, compound subjects. Now, when you have two subjects and they're joined by the word and, it's always plural. The teacher and the student are. Easy. But when you use or nor, the rule changes. The verb agrees with whatever subject is closest to it. So in this example, neither the students nor the teacher is. The verb is singular because teacher is singular and it's sitting right next to. Okay, you've learned the rules, you've seen the traps. Now let's put it all together into a total game-changing shortcut. This is the elite technique that's going to transform you from a good test taker into a great one. It's all about speed and accuracy. Here's the shortcut. When you're looking at the answer choices and you see a pair like is and are or runs and run, you instantly know what the question is testing. Boom. Ignore everything else. Your only task is to find the subject, decide if it's singular or plural, and pick the verb that matches. It's literally that simple. And the power of this shortcut is just immense. You're not wasting time anymore debating 4 different options. You've boiled it down to a simple yes or no question. This is going to save you precious seconds on every single question, which can add up to minutes by the end of the section. And that's extra time you can use for the really tough problems. So here it is, your winning game plan, boiled down to 3 simple steps. 1. Find the subject. 2. Ignore the fluff. 3. Match the number. That's it. You do this every time, and you will dominate these questions. You see, in the end, this isn't really about being a grammar expert. It's about having the discipline of a champion. It's about sticking to your game plan, ignoring all the distractions, and just executing the strategy flawlessly every single time. You now have the playbook. You have the secret codes to defeat the SAT's most common trick. You know the strategy. You've practiced the moves. You're ready. So the only question left is, what's next? With this newfound confidence, what other challenges are you ready to take on? The entire test is now within your reach.